How are you doing, everybody? This is going to be a presentation. This is Robert Evans, my presentation on homelessness in Atlanta and what are some things we can do to better it and to not only clean up the streets, but to better these people's lives as, they maybe when we do help them lead on to better things in life and how we keep them on their feet. For the first slide, I just picked up some basic stats, right? And these are some stats on that I picked up off the net. And for basically, these are ones that caught my eye. Right, and these are only four, so keep that in mind. According to 2020 point in time count, there are approximately 3,200 homeless individuals in Atlanta. It may not seem as a big number to many people because you think Atlanta is a huge metropolitan area, but 3,200 is a very big amount when you consider how many people can be scattered amongst the streets and how many people can go unaccounted for, right? So that's something to just keep in mind. Roughly for 40% of these homeless individuals in Atlanta are families with children, right? So not only are they people who are people in general, they're people who have kids, wives, stuff like that. So that is very heartbreaking to think of. They think that young kids have to go through this and most of the time still even go to school and still get an education somehow. The majority of homeless individuals are indeed African American. Sadly, as a young African American male, it is not to broaden the topic, but it's a sad truth. It happens to whites, African Americans, Hispanics, everybody. Atlanta has seen a significant increase in homelessness among the youth and young adults in recent years, and this really much so points to housing and stuff like the housing and drug abuse mainly, because housing numbers have gone up by 13% in Atlanta, as I'll get into later on. And drug abuse numbers have also gone up because of the accessibility to the narcotics in the world that we have now. The intro, addressing homelessness in Atlanta. In Atlanta, homelessness is a pressing issue that demands our attention and collective action. As one of the largest metropolitan areas in the United States, Atlanta faces significant challenges providing stable housing for all its residents. Homelessness not only affects the individuals experiencing it, but also has broad implications on the entire community. It is imperative that we understand the complexities of homelessness and work together to find sustainable solutions. This presentation will explore the factors contributing to homelessness in Atlanta and outline strategies for effectively addressing this critical issue. Right. So I not only will just shed the light on why these things are so prevalent in this world, but I'll shine the light on what are some things that people have set up and some people have built for the homeless, and what can you do as somebody watching this presentation to help out as well. By coming together as a community, we can make a meaningful difference in the lives of these experiencing homelessness and create a more equitable and compassionate city for all. The factors, right? I'm going to list off three, and these are three that are probably the biggest to me. For one, housing affordability. Two, economic instability. And three would probably be the mental illness and substance abuse. Those are three that are very huge. The housing affordability is a given. With the world we live in, inflation is a real thing, and the prices and everything have gone up for some odd reason. And one being housing. Housing has gone up a 13% clip in Atlanta, and that's just from 2018 and up. And it's kind of crazy to think about because these people have nothing to do with that, but they have to suffer the most because they're trying their best to make this money to live in certain areas, but they're $2,000 short a month because we decided to fly up in rent prices. Economic instability. These are just things that these people can't control. They can't make all the money in the world. They can't make a lot of money in general because of the fact that they are homeless and there's a stigma put on them that they don't deserve it, right? And we sometimes don't, as people, don't like to give them the chance to, which kind of sucks for them. Mental illness and substance abuse, another huge one. Substance abuse is a real thing for a lot of people, not just the homeless, but in the homeless is very much more so detrimental because they have no help, right? A lot of people who go through mental illness and substance abuse in the real world, in the regular world, and the middle line living, they can get help. They have access to rehab facilities. The homelessness, we don't really know that they're even going through it because nobody shines a light on them and the people that live in the homeless world, which sucks, but it's a sad truth. Lack of access to service, criminal justice system involvement, family breakdown, and systematic racism and discrimination. All another four that are very true to me. And if you just read into these things, such as criminal justice, these people get out of jail sometimes as felons, maybe even convicted on short-term things, and they're not quite put back into a situation where they can get on their feet, right? You kind of just throw them back out there with what they left with. And these people sometimes either find their way back into the prison or they just don't find their feet. it sucks because you would think that you're coming out of jail, try to help them, but the criminal justice system and the government in general doesn't really aim to do that much. Systematic racism and discrimination, it's just abroad. I'm just keeping simple for that one. A lot of people put stigmas on these people and they don't really care, whether it be color, whether it be because they're homeless. But some people just really don't care to help them and they think that they put themselves in that predicament. But sometimes they may have gone through something very serious that put them in there. These are just some more challenges and more in depth. I'll point out the ones that I didn't point out already, but the vulnerability to violence and exploitation, um, the violence thing, young ladies that are on the street with kids, they're so open to getting hurt and raped, abused, beat because these other homeless people they don't think right, right? They don't have that correct mental health because they're not in a good physical health situation. So it kind of throws off the other side of it and they're open to doing these wrong things to other people and nobody can help these people because how is a homeless man getting beat up going to be reported when it's just another homeless man on the street and nobody knows that he's getting beat or another homeless lady's getting beat? Like, it's sad but it's true and it's only sad. It's really sad because we treat these people as objects and people who don't matter, but these people very much so matter and they could probably make a very good difference in the world if we gave them the chance. Right. Barriers to employment and education. I got into this a little bit, but the education piece, these people don't have job. They don't have jobs already, and they don't even get the chance to go to schools. They don't get to go to community colleges, anything like that, which would be the bare minimum of helping them. But we or the government has set up some things, but not many, to where these people can just walk in on any given street or any given certain other street and get help. Right? They got to go really searching, and I don't think these people have the energy when they're trying to find meals and food and money all day long. They're not so strong on just trying to get help when they know the help won't even really want to help. What can we do, right? And getting to the end of this really, really soon. I'll just show you some support systems that I got off the net, and I'm gonna list them all right here. One, the Atlanta Housing First Initiative, um, the Gateway Center in Atlanta. These are two places that get homeless people back on their feet. They help them with healthcare, mental health treatment, job training, stuff like that, and it goes a long way because people really do need this type of help. And these people do a really good job at finding that for them. Sorry about that. The Housing First model in Seattle, it works mainly out of Seattle, yes, but it also has roots to the East Coast. It works with many other states to find these people the needs that they do need and get them on their feet, including meals, housing, law help, medical help, anything they need to get back on their feet. Same for the Built for Zero initiative, who also had some stats given out to the public where they show that 16% of the people, 16% of the people that got into their initiative, they had a $6,000 or more increase in wealth. And these are just counted for the people who had an income coming in. This is not counting for the people who didn't have an income at all and may have still got, an extra $6,000, which is a very good number. And I think it could grow giving over time and given that it gets that the initiative gets the right attention in the world. All right, just to wrap up right here, homelessness in Atlanta stems from complex issues like housing affordability, economic instability, and systematic inequalities. Homeless individuals face challenges like lack of basic needs, vulnerability to violence, stigmatization, barriers to employment and education, and health issues. Successful programs in Atlanta and elsewhere show that homelessness can be addressed with evidence-based strategies and community support. Now let's please act, volunteer, donate, advocate, and engage in conversations to support these experiencing homelessness. Remember, solving homelessness is a collective responsibility. You cannot do this by yourself. Grab a friend, grab your mom, grab your parents, grab your sister, your brother, anybody can, all right? It's just, let's have people who work together for compassionate and equitable Atlanta where everyone has a home. I thank you all for your commitment, and I pray that y'all use this information in the right way and try to help as best you can. These are just some links and videos. You can click as you may, click as you want, and as you may think. This YouTube link right here is probably the one I would click on. It's a homeless people talking themselves, just shining light on what they think. And I think it gives you a very good very good mindset on how these people are actually thinking. This is a photo taken in Atlanta about 2 years ago, just showing these people laid out on the street and these people in these bags. sadly just laid out, nobody really helping them. And then this right here shows a map of the youth homelessness in certain areas. All right, we got the big bubble near Savannah, Columbus, but the major bubbles are in the Atlanta, Alpharetta, towards the Gainesville and Athens area, and it's something that we need to really highlight because this is the youth, and we need to find a way to get the youth out of it because we don't want this to be a generational thing. We'd rather stop it now, to where in generations we can look back and say, hey, we stopped it before it became a very, very bad issue, which it already is, but we don't want it to become detrimental to basically the whole world. Yeah. And that's really it. I thank y'all for joining. I thank y'all for watching, and I'm glad y'all enjoyed.